How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Tzadi Dalet, Daf 94 of Masechta Sanhedrin, friends. Where are we? Where are we even stopping? I don't know. Okay, probably there. Yeah. All right. Cool. Wow, these pages are, they're like big, these pages. Alright, today I think we're basically going to talk about Sanhedrin. Yeah, I think so. Alright, so Tzadi Daled Amud Aleph. I think we got to like 10 or 15 lines into the Amud. On Tzadi Daled Amud Aleph. Lemar be'amisra v'lashalom ein kates v'gomer. Wait, what is this? Scripture says, to him, okay, so to him who increases God's authority, and for him there will be peace without end. That sounds nice. Amr Tanchum says, Tanchum Darsh by Kapar Bitzipori. The by Kapar Darshan Tzipori. This is another thing that by Kapar Darshan Tzipori. Mipnei Ma Komemsha Be'emsa Teva Pasuach V'Zasosim. How come in general, right? There, of course, we have the concept of a regular mem and a mem sofit. The mem sofit is basically a box. It's like a square. It's closed. So a mem in the middle of the word of a word is open, whereas at the end of the word it's closed. Okay, so again, so in general, a mem in the middle of a word is open. But in this particular word, when it says this pasuk of lemarbe amisra v'lashalom ein kates, so the word lemarbe, the mem is in the middle of the word, and yet it's closed. That the Rabbanu Shalom wanted to make Chizkiyahu Mashiach and Sancheriv Gog uMagog. Omer midas hadin lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but the attribute of judgment said before the Rabbanu Shalom, Uma David Melech Yisrael Shomer Kama Shiras V'Shishbachus Lefanecha. If King David, who said all sorts of praises before you, Lo Yasisoy Mashiach, and you did not make King David the Messiah, Chizkiah you did all sorts of miracles for him. And he didn't sing songs before you. How come you're making him the Messiah? That is why the mem is closed, because the Messiah role was closed off, I guess. But then immediately upon seeing what's going on, the earth answered Lifanav and said, right, opened up its the earth opened up and said before the Rabbeinu Shalom, Ani Omeres Lifanecha Shira Tachas Tzadik Zeh V'Asei Mashiach. You know what? I'll sing you a song, make Tzidkiyahu Mashiach. Pascha v'Amra Shira. So the land started singing Lifana before the Rabbanu Shalom. Shneimar, as Paul says, Miknafa Aretz Zmiros Shamaynu Tzvila Tzadik V'Gomer. That from the edges of the earth we heard Nigunim, we heard Zmiros. Omar Sarah Olam Lifanov. So now the master of the officer of the world said before the Rabbanu Shalom, Tzivyoinoi Asei Latzadik Zeh. Nu, I guess, do this will, basically make Tzidkiyahu Mashiach. Yotzabaskel v'Amra, but then a heavenly voice emanated and said, Rozili, right? That's a continuation of the pasuk, right? The pasuk is Miknafa Aretz Zmiros Shamaynu Tzvila Tzadik V'Omer Rozili, and then it says Oili Bogdim Bagadu Uveged Bogdim Bagadu. So right, so a heavenly voice emanates and says, "My secrets are to me, and therefore, Tzidkiyahu is not Mashiach, and that's that." Amar Novi. So then, Yeshayahu says, "Oili ad Mosai." He says, Yotzabaskov Amro, a heavenly voice emanated and said, Boigdim Bagadu, Uveged Boigdim Bagadu, that to the answer to your question of Ad Mosai, until how long will it be before Mashiach? Well, there's going to be lots of trials and tribulations. There's going to be Bogdim, bad guys, and Bogdim, and really bad guys, and all sorts of bad things. All sorts of bad and really bad guys. Masa Duma Eli. So Masa Duma, this Duma said this thing. Eli Kore Miseir Shomer Mamilola Shomer Milel V'Gomer. To me, calls out from Seir, what is the guard at night? What is the guard at night? Amr Yochanan says, Yochanan also Malach Amun ala Ruchis Duma Shmoy. The angel that is appointed on the spirits, his name is Duma. This kapsu called Aruchis Esal Duma. All the spirits congregated by Duma. Amrulai, they said to him, Shomer Mamilola Shomer Mar Milel. I don't remember what that means. They said, okay. Watchman, what of the night? Watchman, what of the night? I.e., when will the exile end and the messianic era begin? Omar Shomer, and the guard said, also Voker v'gam laila, that the morning is coming, but also a dark evening. Im tiva ayun be'ayu, but you can always ask, you can always daven, shuvu, do tshuva, asayu, and if you do tshuva, the Mashiach will come. Tani Mishum Papias, they thought from Papias, Genayu lechizkiya v'siyaso shaloi amu shira ajapascha arz v'amar shira. That's chaval that Chizkiyahu and his people didn't say shira, and that the earth instead had to say shira, because Chizkiyahu didn't. Shenemar miknaf arz mir shamaynu tfilat tzaddik v'gomer kayotzi v'davar omer. And similarly, vayomer Yisroi baruch Hashem asher yitzil eschem, that Yisroi said, "Blessed is God who saved you." Tani mishum Papias Genayu leMoshe v'shishim riboy, that it's chaval for Moshe Rabbeinu and the 600,000 shalei amru baruch, that they didn't say blessed is God ad sheba Yisroi v'amru baruch, and that it had to be, and they needed Yisroi to come and say baruch. Vayichad Yisroi, Rav Shmuel Rav Amar Shehevir Cherev Chada Absori. So what does Vayichad Yisroi mean? So it's Machlekes Rav and Shmuel. Rav says that he passed a sharp sword on his flesh, i.e. he gave himself a bris milah. Ushmuel Amar Shmuel Shenaisa Chidudim Kol B'Sori, that he got goosebumps on all of his flesh. Rav says, Rav Hanu Daminsha, this is what the people say, Giora, a convert, Ad Asor Dori Lo Svazar Amoy Kame, that for 10 generations do not disparage an Aramean in front of him, meaning that Yisroi, he felt a shtickle for the Mitzrim that drowned in the sea. Lochin Yishalach Ha'adon Hashem Tzvakus b'mashmanav ratzon. The Rabbanu Shalom will send in his fat people thinness. My b'mashmanav ratzon. Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu Yavai Chizkiyahu sheyesh lo shmoin shemis. Let Chizkiyahu, who has 8 names, come v'yifra miSancheriv, and pay back retribution from Sancheriv sheyesh lo shmoin shemis. That Sancheriv Ochit has 8 names. Chizkiah, I don't know that Chizkiah has 8 names. The apostle says, "Ki yeled yulad lanu ben nitan lanu v'atia misra al shechmoi v'yikarishmoi v'yikra shmoi pele yoyetz el gibor aviad sasholim." That's 8 names, right? Pele yoyetz el gibor aviad sasholim. There you go. V'yikra Chizkiah. What about Chizkiah? Right, that's also a name, isn't that 9? No, that's not actually his name. That's just Shechiz Koka, that God made him strong. That he strengthened the Yidden to their Father in heaven, as we're going to see later on the daf. Sancheriv Tichsiv Bey Tiglas Paleser, Palneser, Shalmaneser, Pul, Sirgon, Anspar, Asanpar, Rava, Viakira. Ve'ika Sancheriv. What about Sancheriv? Shouldn't that be a 9th one? Shesichas Oriv. No, that just means that his speech was fighting words. That he said all sorts of nasty things towards the Rabbanu Shalom. Amr Rabbi Yechon says, Pnema Zocha Oisa Rasha the Kroisai Asin Farov Viakira. How come Sancheriv merited to be called Asin Farov Viakira? That's a beautiful name. Why did he merit to have such a gorgeous name? Because he did not speak disparagingly towards Eretz Yisrael. Shneimar, as the Pasuk says, Ad boi v'lakachtem eschem el eretz ki artzechem. I'm going to take you to a land that is like your land. He didn't speak negatively of Eretz Yisrael. Rav and Shmuel, Chad Amar Melech Pikechoy, V'chad Amar Melech Tipeshoy. Machlekes Rav and Shmuel, one opinion is that he was a wise king for saying that Eretz Yisrael is ki artzechem. No, that he's gonna that he's taking the 10 tribes to a place that is like Eretz Yisrael. And the other opinion is that he's a silly guy for saying that. According to the opinion that he's a wise king, he figured, well, if he would say that he's taking them to a place that's better than Eretz Yisrael, they would say, impossible, you're lying. So therefore he said a place that's like your land. According to the opinion, says that he was a foolish king. Im kain my rabuse, right? If you're just taking to a land that's like your current situation, so then what's the big deal? Like what are you doing? Lecha agle lu. Where were the 10 tribes exiled to? Mazutra Amar leAfrike. Mazutra says to Afrike. Rabbi Chanina Amar lehari Slug. Whereas Chanina says they were exiled to the mountains of Slug. Aval Yisrael siper b'gnusa shel Eretz Yisrael. So whereas Sanhedrin did not speak disparagingly towards Eretz Yisrael, the Yidden unfortunately did. Kimatu Shosh, when they got to a place called Shosh, Amu Shavya ki Arin. It is as good as our land. Kimatu Alman, when they got to a place called Alman, Amru, they said Ki Alman, it's as good as our world, as Eretz Yisrael. Kimatu Shosh Trey, when they came to a place called Shosh Trey, Amu Al-Chad Trey, that this is taka twice as good as Eretz Yisrael. V'sachas kvoidoi yekad yikoid kikoid eish. That it says, so regarding the soldiers, so we're going to learn that in Sancheriev's army was damaged quite significantly. 185,000, I think it was officers that were killed. So now, in killing them, it says, V'sachas kvoidoi, beneath their honor, Yekad yikoid kikoid eish, that there was like they got all burnt up. That beneath their honor, but not their actual honor. That Rabbi Yochanan would call his clothing his honor. And therefore, tachas kevodo, if your honor is your clothing, so what was beneath their clothing, i.e. their bodies were burnt, but their clothing was not. No, fakir. Wait, what? Tachas kevodo v'lo, kevodo mamish. Yeah, so it was beneath their clothing, but not their clothing, right? Did I get that right? Okay, that was beneath his honor is his body. The Gemara explain. Yeah, right. So saying that, i.e. only the certain soldiers' bodies were burned, not their clothes. Exactly, right. Okay. The bodies were burned, but not their clothes. All right. Rabbi Elazar Omer says, Rabbi Elazar tachas kvodo mamish. No, their kvodo is their bodies, and what's beneath their bodies is their souls. That's what was burnt. Right? Tachas kvodo mamish kisreifas b'nei Aharon, just like the sons of Aharon, Nadav and Avihu. Malaholan seifas neshama v'kufkayim, afkan seifas neshama v'kufkayim. No, what happened with the soldiers in Sancheriv's army is that their souls were burnt, but their bodies were left intact. Tan mishmid Rabbi Yeshua ben Korcha Paro shechev ba'atzmai nivra Kadosh Baruch Hu menu ba'atzmai. Paro blasphemed the Rabbanu Shalom himself. Therefore, the Rabbanu Shalom paid him back himself. Sanchev shecherif ayidei shaliach nivra Kadosh Baruch Hu menu ayidei shaliach. But Sanchev who blasphemed the Rabbanu Shalom through a messenger, so the Rabbanu Shalom punished him through a messenger. Paro dichsiv bei mi Hashem asher eshma bekele. Who is the Rabbanu Shalom that I should listen to his voice? Nifra Kadosh Baruch Hu menu ba'atzmai. The Rabbanu Shalom paid him back directly. Dichsiv vayinay Hashem es Mitzrayim b'seichayom, that Hashem shook up the Egyptians in the sea. Uchsiv darachta b'yam susech v'gomer. I think the point is that it's saying that you, Paro, were in the sea with your horses, so he got all destroyed when the Rabbanu Shalom mixed up the sea. Sanchev dichsiv biyad malachecha cherafta Hashem, that in the hand of your servants, of your messengers, you blaspheme the Rabbanu Shalom. Nifra Kodesh Baruch Hu Manu Yedei Shaliach, so the Rabbanu Shalom paid him back through a messenger. The Chesiv, the Pasuk says, Vayetze Malach Hashem Vayach B'machne, that an angel of God went out and hit the camp of Machne Asher, 185,000 of Sancheriv's soldiers. By Papa Rami, by Papa, he asks, on the one hand, Ksiv Mirom Kitzo, Ksiv Malone Kitzo. On the one hand, it says that God's, the extreme of God is like really high up, and the other one says it is like in a lodge. Sancheir figured first he would destroy the Dira Shamata. I assume he's saying that he would destroy the Beis Hamikdash, and then he figured he would destroy Hashem's palace above. What does the pasuk mean? That Sancheir says, what? Do you think that I could have done this without the Rabbanu Shalom? That I could have come to destroy the Beis Hamikdash without Hashem? No. Hashem Omar Eli. God instructed me. Ale elo oretz hazois v'ashchisa. Go up to this land and destroy it. I'm doing the directive of the Rabbanu Shalom. Mahi, no. When did the Rabbanu Shalom tell him to destroy the Beis Hamikdash? To destroy Eretz Yisrael. To Shammah the Navi, that he heard the prophet, that the prophet said, Yeshayahu said, Yan ki mo'as ha'om hazeh esmei hashiloyach, that because this nation ma'ast the mei hashiloyach, ha'hochim la'at, that move slowly, and instead they prefer Ritzin and Ben Rimalyo. Amar Yosef says, Rav Yosef, if not for the Targum of this pasuk, I wouldn't know what it's talking about. Chalav dekotz amo hadein v'malchusa debeis David, that because this nation has disgusted themselves with the kingship, with the kingdom of the house of David, the Davidic dynasty, the Medabilon Benayich Kmeshiloicha Denagde Benayich, that the kingdom of David speaks to them softly, like the waters of the Shiloach that flow softly. Ve'isru'iu Beritzinu Var Rimalyo, and instead they love Ritzin and Bar Rimalyo. Rabbi Yochanan says, Rabbi Yochanan, what does the pasuk mean? Me'eres Hashem beveis Roshe unvei tzadikim yivoyrach. What does the pasuk mean? That the curse of God is in the house of a evil person, and the dwelling of a righteous person should be blessed. Me'eres Hashem beveis Roshe, the curse of God in the house of an evil person, said Pekach ben Rimalyo she'oichel memsoya goizes b'kinuach suda. That is Pekach Rimalyo, that he would eat 40 sa'as of I guess young birds. That was just his dessert. That is right, that the abode of the righteous should be blessed. That is Chizkiah, that his whole Suda, his entire Suda was just vegetables. So it says, and now God is going to bring upon you the great river of the king of Ashur, i.e. the Sancheir is going to come and destroy Israel. And he passed through Yehuda, Shota v'Avar, and he was passing through Ad Savar, Yagia, and he reached to the necks, like this river of Sancheir. So then why was Sancheir punished? It sounds like he was just the Rabbanu Shalom Batsim. Hashem said, King of Ashur is coming for you. Right? He understood that this was directed from the prophecy of Yeshayahu. So why was Sancheir punished? Navi Aser Sashvatim Isnabi Iu Yoivdaite Al Kula Yerushalayim. Well, Yeshayahu was saying that Sancheir was going to come for the 10 tribes, not for Yerushalayim. But Sancheir got a little too excited, a little jumpy, and he set his sights on Jerusalem. That was his problem. But Navi v'Amalei and Yeshayahu came and said to Sancheir, Ki lo muaf lasher mutzakla. Amabalaza bar brechia a nimsar am oyev batere. A nation that is tired with the study of the Holy Torah will not be handed over. Biyad mi hametziklo. It will not be handed over to those who What's going on? In the hands of those who trouble them. What's going on there? What? My neighbor's getting excited. What? It sounds like somebody's taking the plants from the street, and my neighbor gets very upset when the people do that. I think that's what's going on. My kois arishon hekel arta zvulun v'arta naftali v'ha'achren hichbid derech hayam over yarden galil hagoyim. How do you understand that pasuk? So lo karishonim sheikelu melem al Torah. So kois arishon hekel means where arta zvulun v'arta naftali. So not like the earlier ones who they didn't take the Torah so seriously. Aval achronim shechbidu alein ol Torah, but the later ones that they did learn Torah, and they were fitting that miracles should happen to them, like those who passed through the Yam Suf or the Yarden when they went into Eretz Yisrael. If Sanhedrin is going to turn back, fine. But if not, I'm going to make him the article I think said the butt of the nations. After the things in this truth, that Sanhedrin, the king of Ashur, came, and he came to Judah, and he camped on the fortified cities, and he wanted to preach them. What is this the reward for Chizkiyahu, that he did so much good? He was a good king and he increased Torah study in Israel, and this is what happens. Sanhedrin comes. What does it mean after? Omar after the Rebbeinu Shalom jumped and swore, and he says, Hashem says, look, if I'm going to tell Chizkiyahu, look, I'm bringing Sanhedrin, it's going to be a mess, but ultimately you're going to win. So Ashta Omar, Chizkiyahu is going to say, look, look, just how about this? Don't send Sanhedrin in the first place. I don't need to defeat him. Just don't send him at all. So the Rebbeinu Shalom says, no, I have to swear to my sinalei that I'm bringing him. Shinemar nishba Hashem tzvakis lemor im lo kasha dimisi kein oyoso v'chasha yo atzdi hisokum lishbar osher be'artzi ve'alharai avusenu v'sar me'aleim ulo v'sivlo me'al shichmo yosur. Alright. So I'm bringing Sanhedrin and he's going to be all destroyed and everything. Rabbi Yochanan, Kadosh Baruch Hu Yava Sanhedrin, says Rabbi Yochanan that Kadosh Baruch Hu says, let Sanhedrin come, v'siato and all his people, v'ye'ase evus l'chizkiyahu v'siyasu. It'll be like a trough, like a drinking trough, for Tzidkiyahu and his people, that they'll defeat Sanhedrin. V'yei b'yom ha'hu yosu sivlo me'al shichmecho ve'ulo me'al tzaverecha v'chovel all mipnei shamed. That the yoke of Sanhedrin is going to be damaged from the fat, from the oil of Chizkiyahu, the oil of Tzidkiyahu that would fuel the flames, the fires, the lamps in the Beis HaMedrash, so that all the people could study Torah. That would, right? So the Torah study would defeat and damage and destroy the yoke of Sanhedrin. Also, what did Chizkiyahu do to increase Torah study among the Yidden? He put a sword by the entrance to the Beis HaMedrash for Omer, and he said, whoever is not going to study the Holy Torah, is going to be stabbed by this sword. But can be done by Beersheva. They checked all the way from Dan to Beersheva. V'lo matzu amaretz. There was not one amaretz. Mikvas van antifros. V'lo matzu tinok v'tinokes ish v'isha. Shloyu became bilchos tuma v'tara. They checked from Gvas to Antifros, and they could not find even a baby, any man, any women. Everybody knew. Everybody was experts in the halachos of tuma and tara. V'alosador who omen. It says about that generation. V'ayei bayom ahu yichye ish eglas boker. Vishteitzon v'gomer, that it will be in that day that everybody will have a calf of cow and 2 sheep. Roman says that any place where there is 1,000 grapevines worth 1,000 silver coins, but it's going to be abandoned, these vineyards, that even though there were these very valuable fields, nobody was paying attention to them because everyone was busy studying the Holy Torah. And gather your booty, the gathering of the locusts. The prophet said to Israel, Isvu shlalchem, gather your booty, your spoils. Should everybody just go and gather for themselves, or should we divide it up equally? He says, like a locust gathers, just like when a locust gathers, everybody gathers whatever they can for themselves. Everyone just gather the spoils of Sanhedrin for themselves. They said to him, what about the fact that maybe some of the money of the Aseres Shvatim, the 10 tribes, is mixed in there? So he says to them, Kemeshek gave him a shokek bow. It's like a stream that flows into a river or something. So just like a stream, the waters of a stream, they purify somebody from impurities. So also the money of Israel, once it falls into the Ovdei Kochavim, it kind of just gets purified, and you can now take them from the spoils. Alright, well, that was the Haftari Dal. We were talking about the Sanhedrin, some interesting stuff there. I think. Peace out.